Joan and Patrick to say a few words. Patrick, you want to take the floor here?
First of all, can I welcome you all here this afternoon. It's an absolutely fantastic turnout, and when I see the amount of people here who give of their time voluntarily and ask for nothing but give of everything, it makes me proud to be a member of our great party, the Labour Party, and you're all an inspiration to me, and I know that we have a huge opportunity over the next few weeks to transform politics in Ireland. For nearly 90 years we have had a government led by either Fianna Fáil or Fine Gael. In the next 3 weeks we put an end to that once and for all. We have an opportunity. We have an opportunity to elect a Labour-led government. I am deeply honoured and humbled to have been selected, along with Joan, to run for the Labour Party in Dublin West. I am committed to working day and night, non-stop, to do you justice and to secure a mandate for a Labour seat in Dublin West. If both Joan and I are elected, it means that the Fianna Fáil party may not take a seat here, and it means that we are on the way to a Labour-led government, and that is something our generation can be proud of. So many people have gone before, have grafted for the Labour Party, have put in the leaflets, have knocked on the doors when times were hard, and times are very hard for people now, and only Labour can bring people hope. Only Labour can get this economy moving and focus on creating jobs, on sorting out our two-tier health service, and on making sure that education is protected. That's one of the key reasons why a Labour-led government is so important. And just to say as well, I hear an awful lot at the moment about the need for leadership in our country. Well, as far as I'm concerned, and what my politics is grounded on, is that we are all leaders. Each and every one of us are leaders in our communities, in our workplaces, in our schools, in our hospitals, all around this country. And if we want change in this country, it starts on polling day by electing Labour TDs, but that is only the beginning, because real change in this country will come from the ground up when ordinary people like us get involved in politics, get involved in campaigns, and transform this country for the better, and put equality, social justice at the heart of every aspect of government policy. That is what the Labour Party is about. It's what we stand for. It's why both Joan and I are campaigning. And so thank you so much for coming out today. I look forward to campaigning with you, and I know that if we work together, if we're unified, if we give of ourselves, we have the potential to make a breakthrough here, not only in Dublin West, but across the country, and we can do it. Thank you very much indeed.
I was born on St. Bridget's Day, so people have always told me that I've always had a bit of spring and hopefully a touch of hope. We're going into this campaign at probably the most important and difficult time in the life of this country. And Patrick and I, as people here know, because lots of people have already been out with us, have been out talking and meeting with voters in Dublin West. And a lot of people are hurting. A lot of people feel quite an amount of grief about the fact that some of their children have already gone abroad, and more of them who might be coming out of college this year or next year feel that they may end up going abroad as well. And on the other hand, they see this enormous debt that has really been taken on by all of us because of bad decisions being made, which have been made by a Fianna Fáil government. Now, I think that, if you like, that's the battleground. How do we get the country and people back working? How do we get businesses back working? And how, if we can get ourselves up and moving again, I think most people in the country know that the country is capable of great things. We have great people, we have fantastic young people who have a very good standard of education. We know that because a lot of the international companies which come here speak very highly. But at the moment, we've no confidence among our own people, our own businesses, local little businesses, that they can keep going. So I think the message that we have to give to people is that it's going to be difficult to change this, but it is possible and it's essential to change it, and that we will do it. And it's important to talk to people, because although Fianna Fáil are down, very quickly Fianna Fáil will come back with a story which will explain that while they might have been in charge, it really had nothing to do with them, and if only they were back being the government, sure, they'd fix it anyway. So I think, you know, we need to be very aware that there is nothing to be taken for granted in this election. And, you know, we have built up the party and the public representation in Dublin West, where myself, Patrick, Michael O'Donovan and Peggy now represent the Labour Party in the Dáil and at council level. And really, we have to try this time and expand that. In Mulhuddard the last time, we ran a very successful campaign for 2 candidates to be elected, where previously we only had 1. And I think that if we can talk to enough people, if we can talk to them about what Labour wants to do with the future of the country, and how we need a mandate to renegotiate the IMF deal, how we need a very strong Labour representation in the next Dáil, then I think we make the case for people voting for Patrick and for myself, and for bringing 2 Labour TDs back to Dáil Éireann. But the heart of that is everybody here talking particularly to their own families, their own neighbours, their own circle of friends, and the people that they work with. Because you know that people are very sceptical about politicians. The cry, particularly from Fianna Fáil, is that they're all the same. Well, they're not all the same. Nobody from the Labour Party has ever been at a tribunal. Nobody from the Labour Party was involved in the various banking scandals. The Labour Party is positive about jobs, about building community, and about having quality public services of health and education that we can be proud of. And at local level in Dublin West, the Labour Party has always campaigned that Dublin West should be a place that it's nice for a family to live in, bring up their children, good schools, good public services, a good place to invest in, and a good place to work in, and a place with good public transport links. And we have always sought to progress the development of Dublin West, whether it's been investing in the hospital or whether it's been building up the Institute of Technology. It is important, though, to talk to people. Some people have already come out canvassing. I know others are prepared to go canvassing. The biggest difficulty, by the way, when you're canvassing is actually going to be the cold. It's freezing out there. So, you know, if you really need to dress up warm, and you need to go equipped for the weather, because it is just simply freezing. So I just want to say that to everybody. But people on the, on the doorsteps have been very, very willing to listen to the Labour Party. People seem to be glad this time, contrary to rushing out and, a few people sort of saying all politicians go away. This time I think people actually want to have an opportunity to talk and to listen to what we have to say. So anyone who can give any support, but even if you can't come out, to talk to the people that you know, telephone people that you know, and as I said, talk to your families and friends. If we can build up those networks, that's the way I think in Mulhuddard we got the 2 seats. And that's the way I think that we can actually go for the 2 seats in the Dáil. Remember in Dublin West, at the last election, it was a 3-seat constituency. At this election, there are going to be 4 seats. So there's 1 extra seat. And then, in addition, as Patrick was saying, it may well be that people may not particularly want a Fianna Fáil deputy representing Dublin West, given what Fianna Fáil has done to the economy. So there is an opening there, where there's certainly one vacancy, and potentially there are 2 vacancies. And in elections, where there's a potential vacancy, that's where you can really make gains. So I would say that we can actually seriously attempt to win 2 seats in this constituency. It will need everybody's cooperation, everybody's confidence, and everybody pulling and working together. Both Patrick and I will each have to canvass and campaign as hard as we can, but we will be doing it as well, very much as part of a team. And I want everybody here to be very clear that you're supporting both of us. That's really important, that you're supporting both of us, and that you explain to people that the Labour Party has 2 candidates to get that vital increased representation. And that's a critical message to get across. So thanks everybody for coming. It's a great turnout. I really appreciate people taking time off on the Sunday to come out. And as I say, it's all to play for. Eamon Gilmore, I think, would make a very fine Taoiseach of this country. And we think the election will be most likely on Friday, the 25th of February. Apparently it could go as far as Tuesday, the 2nd of March. But that's the Taoiseach's prerogative. And we will only know that when Brian Cowan stands up in the Dáil on Tuesday, goes to the President, and then the Minister for the Environment sets the date. So whenever it happens, it'll be a relatively long campaign. So we have to pace ourselves as well. So if people can't come out in the first week, they can only come out some of the time or do some things. Anything that helps is really helpful. And, you know, as I said, particularly continuously talking to people that you meet and getting the message across to them. And hopefully we'll return here again after the election and we will celebrate an unprecedented level of support from voters in Dublin West. Now, can I just say as well to people who would be long-term residents from Dublin West, that Dublin West this time has been extended to include the River Valley area of Swords, the area opposite Airside and to the west side of Swords town. So again, think about it. You may very well have a friend or a relative or someone you know from work who lives in River Valley. It's a bit of a novelty to people in River Valley that people from Mulhuddard and Blanchardstown and Castleknock will be the faces on the posters. But that's been decided by an independent judge. But that is a big area and we have to take care of that as well. So if anybody here has any connections there or is willing perhaps to do some canvassing there, I know most people here are from Dublin West, from the old Dublin West, Dublin 15 side, but if you can help. And we also have a very big rural agricultural hinterland out around the ward, Rollastown, Kilsalahan. And again, if people know people from there, think about it and maybe, you know, give them a ring and tell them you're supporting the Labour Party and suggest they do the same as well. So thanks everybody for coming, and as I said, we'll meet again probably in about 4 weeks' time, over and beyond every other day on the campaign trail, and here's to victory, and thank you all.